Team Paramis, are we ready?
As ready as always, Aaron's.
Hi to all our psychic and spiritual friends out there watching this program. Welcome here in Volentelavar, Bloemfontein, South Africa. Connect spiritually with us and enjoy what we are going to share with you. On my far right hand side is Eliska, it's the body. What gives consciousness to that body? That name is Bebazola, and that means she's a Bruba of the woods. On my right hand side, Nikita, and what's giving consciousness? A real Indian, Ibulama, a male Indian, so by the way. On my left hand side is Kabos, he's my spouse, and what's giving consciousness to his body of flesh is Purentel. I'm Ernst Jordan as El Tisator, and the four of us represents Baramis Tower of Light.
In today's program, which is program V, we share ancient wisdom secrets on the subject marriage. Why do Christian marriages not last until death as they should? What is a marriage supposed to be? Is it necessary to get married, and if so, why? Is there a difference between Christian and spiritual marriages? This whole program is one big ancient wisdom secret. Do you want to know why?
Because what we as humans do, we saw the gods do it as well. Whether it was true light side gods or true dark side gods. Where do you think ancient wisdom secrets on true light side deities originate from? That says, as above, so below. In Baramis Tower of Light, it helps a lot. If you can just imagine what's going on earth is supposed to be going on in one of the higher or in all the higher dimensions. Doesn't matter light side or dark side, definitely not. The true light side gods, Hefkenams, up to the Torata Res, serve the highest Toratare Yahweh Goria in temples on their endless planets. Most of them also get married, but to soulmates chosen for them by the highest Toratare Yahweh Goria, not self-chosen partners that will not, the duration will not be until the end. We learn from the best, the real light side kingdom deities. We also see how the dark side get married or get wedded or so, and we don't approve of that. And I think at the end of this program you will also definitely not approve of the wrong way of getting wed.
Please help us to reach others in need of this contents of this program by sharing the pressing the like and share button, as well as the little subscribe and bell icon for more ancient wisdom secrets that you can help and share to other people.
If this is the first program you watch in this series of ancient wisdom secrets, please catch up on all of the previous programs, otherwise you could experience problems with names, places and titles used in this series.
Right, Western people like to do what the royal families on earth do. Why? Before we discuss, just in general, why do you think they like to see what the kings and the queens on earth do, and they all dream about it? Why?
It's a path that they seek. It's something they know they've got, but they don't realize it. So they're taking an example of the queen or the royal families.
It is inborn something in your DNA and genes to always go for what is better than yourself, spiritually as well as outward looking. So it's quite logic, you know. All of us are not princes and princesses, and in the olden days before television, people had only, or people in different countries had only maybe the photos or, you know, something like that. And now that it's for everyone available, I mean, what is going to happen? Dreams of small girls at weddings. I think we all, whether you're a little girl or a little boy, we all would like to be happy married if it is the will of the Father, the Creator, the Most High. And I think we all like to do it the proper way. You know, if you look at other cultures also, the way they mark actually their future wedded wives or whatever, they do it in different styles. But I mean, if you can just remember, you will always go for something that's better than yourself. Why do Western people like to live in a self-created fool's paradise? Titles, for example, are misused by world. Do you know what I'm talking about? You know, they will in overseas countries. If you go to see what is the definition of a lady, I mean, it's a title that belongs to a monarchy, not to common people. With all due respect, we are all common people, whether we accept it or not. But the queens and the kings and those are the monarchies on earth. And you know, if they decide you must wear a hat if you want to be a lady, you must speak properly as a lady do, you must dress up properly as a lady do, your whole culture must be the culture of a real lady. Now in overseas countries, whether you're a harlot or a night girl or whatever, showing everything on street, they are being addressed as ladies. I mean, come on, let's get real. How's it possible that you can refer to them as ladies? If you're not part of a monarchy, you are not a lady, you are a woman. You can be a very good woman or a very bad woman, but please, you know, the same as sir. In South Africa, whether you are first, second, third, fourth, fifth world, everybody are being addressed as sir. Since when did Queen Elizabeth or any other queen came with her sword, put it on her shoulder and said, "Now I declare you to be a sir"? When did it happen? These people are living in a fool's paradise. You know, one of these days everyone is going to be brigadiers or generals or whatever. They don't have a clue what is the definition of all this, but they misuse it as far as they go, living in their own little fool's paradise. You cannot be a lady, you cannot be a gentleman if you are not declared by the Queen to be one. And in South Africa, there may be one or two ladies, real ladies, but the rest are just very ordinary, well-looking, good-dressing women. They are not ladies. It's unfair towards the real ladies to compare the rest of the world with those monarchy girls. Are all royal families on earth true light side kings and queens? What would you guess?
No.
Why?
There's light side and there's dark side.
Now you are going to know what to look for, and you also, but you out there, if you haven't catch up on the previous programs, especially what to look for in a person's eyes and what to feel, even if you look at a photo of a person, get that in your mind, and then you will see, as Cabo said, all of them are not, you know, some of them comes from the grey to dark side god Laxela. You know whom I'm talking about without naming them. But I mean, there are, whether people believe it or not, if they live in a fool's paradise pretending to be a lady without a qualification to be a lady, I mean, what is wrong with people like that? There must be something up here in the mind that's not working properly. I cannot go and call myself a general. Hi, I'm General so-and-so, or I'm Dr. so-and-so. Okay, they do it. It's a title.
And there's another way for them to go and look at how to measure a light side king or queens is by the
Yes.
universal laws. If it's
Yes.
in the universal laws, how they
Thank you.
go, you know, operate and everything,
Yes.
you will
You can
quickly
just go to
identify
their
them.
justice system to see if it is based on the cosmic
God or
laws of
God,
the
yeah.
Most High, or is it based on or rooted in satanic laws. So
Yes.
that's quite the opposite, you know, unfairness, etc.,
Yeah,
etc. Yes, and are they all are all royal families part of true light side monarchies? There are 43. I didn't know it. Did you know it? I thought it was Queen Elizabeth and, you know, the royal family of England, but I wasn't aware. I would say, yeah, about 4 or 5, but not 43. This is news to me. There are currently 43 sovereign states in the world with a monarch as head of state. There are 13 monarchies in Asia, 12 in Europe. Can you imagine 12 in Europe and we didn't know about it? 9 in the Americas, 6 in Oceania, and 3 in Africa. Are we drawn to follow the most in the news royal families, and why? I mean, let's take the royal family of Queen Elizabeth, the late Queen Elizabeth, King Charles at the moment. I mean, it's for you to decide whether they are real reptilians, dark side. Always remember that you get light side reptilians as well as dark side. So don't assume that if you see somebody in the British monarchy and you heard somebody said they are all dark side reptilians. They are not. If the bloodline is not pure, they are not pure bloodline or reptilian seed line families or persons.
What happens during a Christian marriage confirmation ceremony, generally known as the wedding?
Normally, if I can make a short something of it, you know, everything is as it is. They follow their Christian culture, etc., etc. But why do we see the Christian culture as far as getting wedded or so, or using a temple or a church as wrong? Who is the center? Okay, you should actually answer, sorry.
Where's the sense of attention during a Christian wedding? We all know
Yes,
it's
we know.
the bride and
Yes,
girl.
we'll come back to
Egos
that
and
one,
so-
but just think of it. Who is the center of attention during a Christian wedding, and why? And is it correct?
To which god does the two partners recite their wedding vows? To one of many opposite deities of the highest, Toratri Yahweh Goria, working against him as the highest. We will prove this when we discuss the general wedding vows, and also how did the two wedding partners meet one another. It's another.
Yes, and we'll discuss it in full. Now, is it necessary to get married? And if so, why? Do you think it's really... Before we answer, you know, you can just watch the people in South Africa, normally in the Western countries as well. You know, if they get married, I mean, they will decide for themselves who are they going to get married, etc., etc. But as far as I'm concerned, yes, if you put two soul bodies together in a wedding ceremony before the Most High, it is good. But I mean, nothing has to do actually with the physical body, the outside body. Now, in South Africa, among white people, it became fashionable to live together as if married. The reason is simple. The cost of Christian weddings have escalated to a mark where it became too expensive to get married the Christian way. That is why people go to judges and courts and whatever. In other cases, two people will get married in front of a judge rather than what Christian culture expects from them. You know, the one is trying to look better than the the next one or the previous one. I'm referring to brides now.
Yeah.
These people get married before a judge because it is much cheaper, and in this process the government can adjust their records, because that's actually why you have to get wedded in a church where a register can be filled in. I mean, this is the documents for the government to correct their books and their statistics and whatever.
What about a real light-side wedding ceremony? How does a true light-side wedding ceremony differ from the true Christian wedding ceremony?
Kabasi, a true light-side wedding differs in totality from a true Christian wedding ceremony. Our friends over the globe will understand the differences between a Christian wedding ceremony and a true light-side wedding ceremony, which we know as Barami-style weddings. Why? Because Barami is the oldest religion on earth. There's none older than that. And after we explain the following, now we come to the proof. Two Christian people will meet each other through friends or by themselves or even by lust. Why do I say that? Because if you go, I cannot speak in other countries on behalf of those people, but if you go to, let's say,
Nightclub.
a nightclub, thank you, or something like that, it is not black tie ensemble that we are used to in the olden days. No, you go in there, there's drugs, there's alcohol, there's everything that you don't need to be there. Lust will eventually, take its part. And if you go out there, a lot of people smoke indoors, but a lot of people go outside to smoke. And if you sit there, you can see people, a man and a woman having sexual intercourse on a car's bonnet or in the back seat of a car or in a toilet. Other people must come and say, please finish. There's a whole queue of people waiting to go into the toilet. But two of them are busy there. I cannot understand why are people doing that, but this is how they meet one another. In places like that, or you will always hear a woman will say, he will do it for me. It always goes, what will be the best for her. Not, how can I help that gentleman or, that man, not a gentleman, we're not in Britain now, so, but I think you know what I mean. In Barami style, we know the highest Toratre Yahweh Gloria in everything we do. To meet the correct soulmate for us as individuals lie not within us, but within the highest Toratre Yahweh Gloria. There's a lot of reasons for that, but if you go back 201 million years when the first humanities were settled on earth, which were the Constellation humanities, and who were their creators, Superhefkenaam? Constella. But in any case, since that time, people were supposed to ask the Most High. In that case, if you are, I'm coming to the other religions as well, but for Barami style two-way communication between creator and creation, the souls in human bodies here, etc., etc. I mean, you need to know the Most High in everything you do. So he's got a council plan. I mean, for heaven's sake, everybody coming from the true light side name is in that council plan. And what else? What the Most High's plans for each and every soul on earth which belongs to him, not the dark siders and the grey siders and the people who's not psychic or spiritual developed, but you know what I mean. You cannot, I mean, if you know that he's got his plans for you in his council plan, How can you someone decide to marry this one or that one? No, no, we mean everything you do. That is the correct way to do it. Now, during a Christian wedding ceremony, the bride is the focal point of attention. The wedding day belongs to the bride. In Christianity, it is her life, and she will do with her life what she wants. That is culture among the Christian brides. Usually the dad or of the bride has to pay for the wedding, which can cost, I mean, some of those dresses are about 100,000 rands in South Africa term. I mean, why go and spend $500,000 or $1 million on a wedding? I mean, if it is in any case a waste of money, as far as I'm concerned. Now, during a true light-side wedding ceremony like Barami-style wedding ceremonies, the highest oratory, Yahweh Gloria, is the focal point of attention, not any human. Definitely not the bride or the groom or anybody there. This belongs to Christianity, not in a Barami style. I mean, if you know the Most High, your Lord, in deciding for you who will be His choice for you, I mean, then you do right. Now, you cannot mingle in or change what is. You cannot be the God of your own life. You know, then you can go to Christianity where you can get a Lord or a God which you can order on a daily basis. Please do this, go with this one, do this. It's not working in a light side community like that. Definitely not in a light side kingdom. During a true Christian wedding ceremony, the vows will be made to another God, whom the Pope already declared who this God really is. You know, even when I compiled this program and I typed it, I made sure what I said is correct. So I went to the internet and I said, Pope, what is his name? Francis, thank you. Oh, I'm getting old. The short-term memory doesn't work so good. But type in something. Thank you. Doesn't me feel alone. But if you type on Google or somewhere, you know, Pope Francis declared Lucifer as God, or the Pope declares Satan as God, or something like that, you will get it. When I typed in the Pope Francis or Pope Francis declare Lucifer to be God of the church, immediately I came to the site and I pressed it. Is a video you can listen where they sing and how they glorify the Satan Father, the Satan, you know, the Satan Father, Lucifer the Son, and the demonic kingdom. You should actually go and see it before they take it off once again. Now this is Christian way of doing things, not our way. During a true light side wedding ceremony, Barami style, the vows are to the highest oratory, Yahweh Gloria, who brought the two people to become one. Then he knows that everything is according to what has been written in the council plan of the highest oratory, Yahweh Gloria. Does it make sense to you?
Yes.
Why does it make sense?
Yeah, you're doing the whole ceremonies.
You're doing it either light side way,
not
what
dark
we learned
side.
from the light side Efkanams, or you do it dark side way, the way that Satan and his followers prefer to do, you know, where they decide who they want to pray to as a God. Doesn't matter if it's a Messiah or whatever, they go for it.
Ernst, I think our friends out there would like to know more about the true light side wedding ceremony we as Barami's members make use of, because that is so sincere in intention.
Indeed, Eliska, I'm so glad you mentioned it. Our ways of doing things is definitely sincere in intention. I'll get to that. In fact, all our ceremonies differ from Christian ceremonies. Think of the baptism of Christian children. Compare it with Barami style, acknowledging the receiving of a baby from the highest Toratre Yahweh Gloria. That is, if you prayed or know the Most High before the baby made its appearance, whatever, it was born. And what goes along with it? Barami's children are prayed for from the highest Toratre Yahweh Gloria. Everything we do differs from that, or what a true Christian does, and there is a good reason for it. In true Christianity, Christian gods are Christian servants, to whom they as Christians give orders on a daily basis. God, go with little Johnny, it's his first day in school, and bring him safe to me in Jesus' name. God, bring the rain because the farmers are suffering. Please bring the rain, or take away the, how can you do it? I mean, it is misproof on itself that those people are on their gods in their own lives. They decide what they will do. But if something doesn't go according to their orders that they gave their servant gods what to do, then you must hear them.
Yeah.
Oh, then if he doesn't look after my child, I don't want to know him as a god, but because Mrs. Goddess is not speaking.
Yeah.
So, yes. They, as proud Christians, there's a lot of programs, even in South Africa, where they will say, are you a proud Christian? Yes, I'm a very proud Christian. Oh, I mean, those people are so mind-controlled, they don't even know what they are part of, but they are very true.
Ashamed.
Proud. As those proud Christians lead their own lives on earth, and their gods must follow them and see to it that their individual's path on earth lead to the single heaven they want to believe in. Now, as Brahma's members, our God is not the same God as any of their Christian gods. Our God is the highest. Just remember the word the highest means there's no God higher than him. So, if you want to get the correct information about a school, do you go and consult a grade A, or do you go to the principal of that school? Now that is what Christianity doesn't understand. They're not even interested in going to the Most High or the principal. They prefer to go to the great ones, for help. So I cannot see how it's working for them, but yeah. The highest Toratre Yahweh Gloria was there long before any other God was created. He led us as individuals and we follow him. That is why. Now, Barami style wedding ceremony will go according to the following rules. Just listen once again. Barami style wedding, true light side style wedding. You can call it whatever you want to call it, as long as light side or Barami is in there. Because what we are going to share with you now, you will not find in Christian weddings up to this date. In our case, no wedding will take place if the two persons involved did not pass Barami's writing books and courses 1 to 5. Why?
Because they won't be psychic and spiritually developed enough to understand what the wedding is all about.
The Most High will not send you a great one or a Christian to be part of your life if he knows that you are in his service. He will not do that. He will not send you another culture's partner for your life. He will not do that. He will send somebody that's a soul mate to you. And he will decide which one will be the best. You must remember we're not all, or we were not always on the right path. We all were,
We were all lost.
from heathens up to Christians, up to
Yeah.
where we are now. We all walked that path. But we need to share it for other people so that we can shorten their time.
Yeah.
Not to go the long way, you know. Yeah, you've got everything you need to know and then decide. So they need, and you know in book 1, they must know. I mean, even in course 1, if they doesn't do the meditation right, and they cannot tell me, and we'll discuss it through the board. You know, if you come and say, I discussed with my guide and the Most High said it's correct, me and Bebazola is going to get married. I'm going to my board first. I'm going to consult because I must make sure, you know, both are spiritually and psychically developed to a certain point where we know, if you know that from book 1 to 5 and course 1 to 5, you are spiritually already open. You know what you're supposed to know. You're not mind controlled anymore. The second thing, didn't pray each other from the highest. If they didn't pray their partners from the highest, and they come here and they said, listen, I've met her and we would like, oh, you know, she's pregnant now and we must get married, what, sorry, dude. Go and do it the right way. If you didn't pray her or you didn't pray him from the Most High, it's not your gift from the Most High. So please go and find another way to get married. They must be physically and spiritually developed enough to know their real names as consciousness being life forms. You know, how can they, if we have a conversation, we usually use our names, not the names of the bodies that we are giving consciousness to. If, let's say, the Davros Yuval want to tell me something, he will tell me El Tizator. He will not say Arams. He will spell it out. El Tizator, this and this and this. Or Porentel, or Bebazola, or
Ebolama.
Ebola. What a beautiful name. So yeah, this must be a lifestyle and part of your way of living, strict to the invitation of the highest. What is that invitation that I'm referring to? It's in your Bibles more than one times. If you're Christians, you're supposed to know where to find it. I know to find it, where to find it in my 26 different translations, so I know you will also, I mean, I'm not even Christian and you're Christian, so what is that invitation? The Most High said, know me in all your ways, then I will make your paths straight, so that you will not dash your foot against any stone. Can you remember hearing something in a Christian church you were, or yes, always. Oh, they read it, and they have songs where they sing, where you lead me I will follow, but as soon as they exit the church,
Yeah.
now I'm at the
Follow
steering wheel,
myself.
come on, do this and do that, you know. Oh,
There's
it's-
another one
yes.
that came out of Sister Act. I will follow him.
I will follow him wherever he may lead.
Yeah.
Where are you? You must help me. You know, I stopped singing when I was in 92. I mean, now 2023. It's a half decade later. But remember, as the highest orator Yahweh Gloria leads the way of our individual life path here on earth, and we follow him alone, never the other way around. We are not going to tell him what we want and he must see that it comes to us. Never, never, never. No. Real dark side representatives on earth will obviously follow Satan, Lucifer and the demonic kingdoms, as they are doing for the last 2,000 years. And if you don't believe what we tell you, you're more than welcome on the website Brahms Tower of Light. There's a section where you can download more info. So go under more info, download the Cosmic Laws, compare it with whatever your religion or practice, and see which one is which one. They enjoy Satan's way of living. They are too mind controlled by the Christian churches to see where their gods, Satan, Lucifer, and the demonic kingdoms on earth are leading them. The two partners who want to get married the Brahma's way must be known to be in service of the highest Orator Yahweh Gloria, and to live by his cosmic laws alone. We don't even have friends, among people who's not willing to serve the Most High. I mean, if you are from another, like we come to that, but I mean, why do they call him a God if they are the God and he's their servants? And now they will answer you, because Jesus said, whatever you ask my Father in my name, he will give you. Okay, let's see if Jesus said that, and if it was the church writing it in after long eons after Jesus's natural death on earth. I mean, remember also, we do not believe in a God that we never saw before, or we know nothing about. Even if we have his book, the Bible, they don't know what's inside the Bible. If you confront them with that, hey, no, that must be something else. No, this is not right. They decide what is right and what is wrong. We know what our God and many other gods, goddesses, Hefkanaams look like, and we are very much used to that, or what he, the Most High, can do. Christians cannot serve the Christian gods which were decided on and put in place by the Roman Catholic Church, but want to get married Brahma style. Sorry, dude, sorry. You cannot serve or order two gods at the same time. Christians order their gods, and we serve our highest alone, and live by his cosmic laws alone. Now, very interesting, on the day of the wedding, the highest Orator Yahweh Gorian and his Intaurich will be the main focal point of the wedding ceremony, not the bride and the Turich. He, as the highest Orator Yahweh Goria, in whose service we are, selected the bride and groom for each other on their own requests. Therefore he and his Intaurich will be most senior guest of honor. Does it make sense? Take a normal company on earth. If they have a Christmas year-end function, I mean, who do they respect the most there? The CEO of that company, of course. They will not start when he's not there. But they serve their CEOs on earth in a better way than they want to serve the Most High or even their Christian gods. They do what they want, but a wedding day belongs to the bride. We as members of Brahma's Tower of Light cannot imagine putting our God not first in everything. We serve him and his kingdoms on earth. He and his light side kingdoms will come first on earth, and no other God ever. All other true light side belief systems who are in service of their creator gods, like Allah and his followers, praise his name also, as one example, can wed as we as Brahma style wet, because their God Allah, praise his name again, is a true light side, all creator Hefkanam. For these nations, their gods are their highest in prayer. So you can do it, because you do. I believe you will not, someone that get married. You will know your highest, whoever he is, in what you do. I mean, that is the way light side kingdoms function. Nikita, will you inform our friends watching this program about what takes place even before the wedding ceremony can start?
Because the highest and his entourage come from heavens as high as dimension or heaven 500, we make sure that the temple or wherever the two participants want to get wedded in is sacred space. We have recipes from dimension 100 and up, with which we make sure the temple or house is sacred space before the Most High of all God forms, known to us as Toratre Yahweh Goria, and his entourage enters. Furthermore, the two participants and the Baramis preacher applicable have to undergo a paratosa before the ceremony. Baramis preachers must also be free of any possible dark side energy connections and or negativity.
Thank you, Nikita. Yes, we do more to get our homes and gardens sacred space. When people enter, for instance, a temple, doesn't matter where, but after we've worked with it, and gardens, when people enter the temple or house and get seated, it's so obvious, I find it every time, that they usually will sit and stare in different upward directions with teary eyes. The intentions or the expressions on their faces tells it all. They have, for the first time in their lives, experienced the radiation vibration of a true light side Toratre Yahweh Goria around them. If you look at those people, it brings tears to your eyes, because you're standing now on a podium and you watch the congregation and you see these people sit there and the tears are flowing, but they don't know why. This is why.
Aaron, tell them about the radiation vibration of a true light side Torata Re around them.
With pleasure, Kabosi, with pleasure. I hope I'm not going to become teary, because when I speak of my father's radiation vibration, I cannot help to become teary. Luckily, I'm not ashamed to cry when it comes to the highest Toratre Yahweh Goria. I love him, and when he touches me, I still get teary, because his touch is so special and so beautiful to experience. Nothing on earth compares to it. These people who felt the hand of God, the true Most High, on them for the first time during a Brahma ceremony, experienced the following. And now you must listen carefully. When they entered the temple, they walked through the entourage and guardians of the highest Toratre Yahweh Goria from his kingdoms. Their radiation vibration is so strong that it cleans you who enters there of what is not needed there in his presence. Now, these people felt what it feels like in the true light side kingdoms. They don't know what it is, but they can feel something they have never felt before. The dark side representatives as humans at a Brahma ceremony will be shielded by the entourage of the highest, so that they cannot spread their dark side radiation vibration in his and his entourage environment. When a general of an army visits an area falling under his command, all the big shots will discuss urgent matters with this general, who will see the needs he will see that what is needed will be granted. Now the Most High Torah Yahweh Gloria does much better for those in his service. We will constantly have what we individually need to better our spiritual lives. You know, a lot of people go to church to ask for a better work where they can earn more money. We don't do that. We ask for the needs to be tended for us to develop better in our spiritual lives. Now, during spiritual ceremonies, we invite him. Even if he is not there in person, he will be felt through the radiation vibration of his representatives that will be there on his behalf. He will be looking live at what we do because he is empowered to do so. If you deserve to be open spiritually, his angels will be his mediums through whom he will touch you on the forehead or on the shoulder so that you can experience true light side deities for real. People who are touched by the hand of the highest Torah Yahweh Gloria never forget such an experience. Let us discuss a few differences between a Christian wedding and a Barabas-style wedding ceremony up to here. With all respect towards any Christian watching this program, the following. What I speak is true. Maybe you can learn from what I say by listening to the following. Christians call their churches the house of their God. If you come into a Christian church, they invite you in the house of God. Am I correct? God without a name, but they will introduce you to be welcome in the house of God. Now, when last did you hear, and even you outside there, when last did you hear a Christian preacher welcome the God of the church in his own house? The church? Is he not supposed to be the main guest of honor in his own house during Christian gatherings and Christian ceremonies on earth? Christians are used to standing up out of respect when a judge enters his courtroom. Do these Christians have more respect for judges and other people than for their God? Do they stand up in respect for their gods during prayers, for example? In a courtroom, for example, people and police make sure that there are no bombs or dangers hidden in somewhere in the courtroom before a judge enters the courtroom. Why is a judge more important than a Hefkenam or even the highest Torah Yahweh Gloria? What does he tell you? Those people are not interested in light side activities. They prefer it as it is. I've never seen a person who knows how to identify demons in a church or get a church demonic and negative free before their God enters the building. I mean, demons cannot do anything to their God because we know who their gods are, but in their minds they see somebody else. Now, in that case, you don't want demons to be there where a light side entity comes in. That is why. You know, it's like a fly if you sit there and all around in your face. I mean, this is the same. You cannot handle it. It is because Christians don't want to believe in demons and in earthbound human souls, or do they experience the Christian church being only a building in which they can give orders to their servant gods, get married, get baptized, or bury a dead person?
Aaron, what about a wedding ceremony itself and so-called wedding vows?
Okay, I'm going to share with our friends everything I must. So Kobosi, I were also wedded, Kabos and I were also wedded Barami style. We both prayed to the highest, and both of us asked in advance for a spouse if it was part of the highest for the two of us written in his council plans. Now, I'm going to tell you, a previous friend of mine and myself were together for 22 years, but you know, as it goes, there's a time to come and a time to go. We were not mad at one another, but I think the interests in life, you know, the one was more a handbrake for the other one and around. So I asked the Most High, if it's possible, will I get another partner again? And he said, yes, of course, but you will have to wait, because he's not ready for you. And I had to wait 17 months before Kabos crossed my path. And you can tell them how long before did you start praying for somebody and why?
It was about 7 months that I started praying for someone, but I didn't expect it to be that fast.
Oh, great. You know, on the day of our wedding, Kabos and I, as well as Florence and Zontara, who also wanted to get married to one another, stood before our altar. Now, this is an altar. It wasn't the same one. We had another one in another house where we stayed. And we gave our vows to the highest himself. You know, you can read it to him. Thank you, Most High, I've asked and I've received. You know, we gave our vows to the highest himself, and Florence's guide is Holy Davros Yuval. He is the leader of our spiritual family here. Through Florence's body talked in advance. Then we recited our vows. This was one of the best moments in my psychic and spiritual life ever. Later that night, the judge arrived to fill in the register for the government, etc. Now, a little bit later on, we will tell you about the vows we did. And we as individuals do not know when we as individuals are going to soul transfer. You know, there's no proof that you will become old and die at a very old age. You can die the next day, whether you are 1 day or 2 days or 100 years old. So that is why we include the following questions in our vows. This is not all that we discuss, but for the purpose of this program, listen to this. Let's say the two partners are David and Sylvia. David will be the name of the male body of flesh. The real David, as the consciousness giving life form's name, is Teresh, as an example. And Sylvia, as a consciousness giving life form's name, is Kantara. Now, the vows will be addressed as follows. First question. Teresh, because we do not know when the highest orator Yahweh Goria is going to call Kantara back to him, do you realize that the specific call back time can be any time? Do you realize that? What is your answer, please? You will obviously say yes. And question 2, Teresh, do you promise the highest orator Yahweh Goria, who brought Kantara into your life, in front of this entourage, that you will treat Kantara every day as if it is the last time you will ever see her again? What is your answer, please? You will say yes. But if you listen to it, I mean, this is something quite different. It focuses you to know, to make every day the best day of your life. Otherwise, you can now say bye-bye and trust, you are going to become older. He will give you a partner until that partner's time in your life is finished. Then he will take away the love, put in something like brother love for your brother or something, and then he will send something new or somebody new in your life. The third question reads as follows. Teresh, do you promise further that you will love her more than yourself? That you will guide her in everything that is good and in harmony with the cosmic laws of the highest Doratre Yahweh Goria, and that you will walk the path alongside her until death do you part? What is your answer, please? Now the same questions will be asked to Kantara, obviously, because she also had to pray him from the Most High, make sure it is the correct one. In me and Kobus's case, the day, it was my birthday, but the day before that, the Holy Yule, during the recitation of our prayer, before we eat, Yule quickly entered Willy's mouth and he said, Yeltisator Kaftinel, it means he must have a very nice birthday tomorrow. And I said, thank you, Tatlas, Yuel. And I thought to myself, well, it is very kind of him, to wish me a very nice date of birth. And that was 17 months in the future from when I asked him. And then I told Floranza and Sontara that after work I will take them out for a lunch or something. But about 2 o'clock they called me and said, no lunch for tonight, we are going to Braai. Somebody in a flat said that there's a young guy, he's not looking for a jolarige person, a person who's still, he wants a spiritual person, not a earthly person. And this is why he was interested to come to me and that night when I met him, I immediately was a little bit, not disgusted, but I'm not going for children, and this guy looked so young that he looked as if he could have been under the age of 19 or something, although he was in his 20s. But then I was in my 40s, and we visited. We actually moved in, but no sleeping together without clothing or anything of that. We still had to wait until the Sunday so that I could verify through my guides, is this now the one? Because a lot of other guys came before him, and it went like this. Yeah, I can see that one is a fortune seeker, just send her away, thank you, bye-bye, Louis, there you go, etc., etc. But with this one, it was a different feeling. And even after, the Most High confirmed that this is the one for me, and I mean now it is how long, 22 years ago. That is how we met, and after a week, then we decided, okay, then we'll go a little bit further and start living like normal people. Yes.
I can already see why Christian weddings don't last long nowadays.
What are the persons, or what do you think are the reasons that you can identify, Iliska?
The main reason is they are not serious about their gods, which they rather use as servants. Do you remember the program on Where Was God when this or that happened?
Yes, I would like to emphasize that one. If you missed out on that one, go back to the program, Where Was God when this or that happened? And you will see what I mean. You know, they give an order and, you know, then they expect that their servant gods must organize everything to fall in there. I mean, in South Africa, they did this for ages, and look where did it brought them? If you know what the circumstances in South Africa is right now in 2023.
One thing is for sure, and that is that they as Christians have more respect toward one another than they demonstrate towards their gods.
This is why we and you and millions out there are not church Christians anymore. We know Christianity and its history better than most Christian leaders out there. And we cannot even imagine ourselves being part of that circle of mockers.
I think Christianity will wake up when the forthcoming Third World War gets momentum and they realize that the gods they enslaved are not going to save them. Maybe they will realize their true problem at hand and they might start looking for a real light side God as the highest. Toratere Yahweh Goria, praise his name, Bella.
Let's discuss the wedding vows as such. Thank you, Nikita. Christians believe they pray to a one and only Trinity God, but then also they do what St. Paul tells them to do in his scriptures, and plus the man declared gods and saints of the Roman Catholic Church. So in fact they've got more than three gods, you know. It's not the Father, the Son and the Holy Ghost. It is actually quite more. Plus St. Paul, they don't do what, if it's not coming out of St. Paul. You know, in South Africa, I got a task to prepare a series of early morning programs, spiritual programs, and which I did. And after the third time that they broadcast it, it stopped. So when I asked why, they said the listeners of this radio station, which are Christians, because it's a Christian radio station, they prefer somebody who can mention the word Jesus, Holy Ghost and Paul, St. Paul. If those three names are not mentioned in any prayer or discussion as an early morning service, they are not interested. So that is the proof that they have more than those three gods. Ja, Torata Re as in Tavala is a title that tells you everything about the bearer of this title, namely that the bearer of this title is the highest of whatever he stands for. In this case, it means there is no higher in rank God for us. Where do you also read of this highest?
Psalm
91. Thank you, Ilaska and Kabosi. Yes, even in the beginning, you see the title, the Most High, and you also see another title, the Most High Creator of our third dimension tomb, which is not the Most High. He is Kaisoret Yahweh. The Most High is Toratere Yahweh Goria. The highest orator, or the highest title, belongs to the bearer of it, namely Yahweh Goria, praise his name. Now the highest orator, Yahweh Goria, has a council plan in which the Christians say they believe, but they ignore it 100%. The proof is in the Christian wedding vows itself. If you say that you believe in the council plan of the Most High God, or even if for your God's council plan, do you know what about you as a consciousness giving life form is written in that council plan of the highest? I mean, it's obvious they don't even believe in the Most High. They don't even believe in a light side God. They believe their church and their governments around the world, which is dark side, is now their God. Their God appointed them. Yes, of course, Satan, he appointed them because he's chief of all power on earth was given to him. Now, how many partners are you going to wed during your lifetime? 1, 2, 3, perhaps, or more? Will each one be your own choice based on the riches or the look of the body of flesh? You see, most Christians cannot identify dark side consciousness giving life form in human bodies. When Kabos and I met for the first time, I could not see dark side consciousness light forms inside people. I mean, that was 22 years ago. Today I can see dark side consciousness giving life forms inside human bodies. This helps me to identify who I would like as friends and who not. If you don't know what's being written about you in the council plan, because how are you going to know as a Christian if you cannot even communicate 2 ways with your God? How can you promise your God before the congregation that you will stick with your choice of a spouse until death do you part? The dominee will say, let's say it is now you two. He will say, do you, Nikita, promise God before the congregation that you will take Iliska as your wedded wife, and you will do this and you will do that until death do you part? And you will say yes to it. Which means what you are saying to the Most High is, don't tell me the rubbish that you have for me installed. I will tell you what I need, and I promise you, I don't care who you have for me installed. I will stay with this person until death do us part. Now, is that not extreme Satanism?
Yep.
Ignorance of the true reality of the Most High and His council plan? Yes, in such a case you don't even give your God a chance to give you what is best for you, your karma and everything else included. This is what you are here for. A lot of people will tell me, yes, I prayed my husband from the Most High, and now I sit with a person, doing this and this. I mean, normally they forget that where does karma come in? Do they know they are human souls? What kind of karma is applicable? They're not interested in that, but they are very interested in moaning if things goes wrong. Now, most Christians are very aware of the cost or the council plan of God, but overrule His plan in any way. The more spiritual a person is developed, the more pure will be that person's intention or intentions. I like pure intentions, not impure. Christians are mind controlled not to realize these facts. And why? Because their Christian journalists and pastors show the way in everything that is against the cosmic laws of the Most High. Am I right or wrong? Where do they learn how to pray? Almighty God, Trinity God, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, please bring the rain because the farmers is in need. Do this, do that. They are the spiritual, the leaders who teaches their flock how to do extreme, or how to practice extreme Satanism by biblical definition. Not all Christians wedded couples are happy until death separates them for the sake of their sincerely intentioned individual promise, which they, by the time they got married, didn't know the promise was not to their God but to his opponent. Stick to that devilish promise. Why? Because they as Christians want to be at the steering wheel of their own individuals' lives on earth and they will practice what they believe is correct. It's correct. Doesn't matter how negative or dark side the intentions are. Now, Nikita, can you three here with me see the Satanism in the general wedding vows?
Oh, definitely. I don't
Yes.
no, for sure.
What did you see firstly? How do you feel when you go into a church where this is taking place?
You feel drained
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, it really does. The whole vibration, radiation, everything is just oddly, it's dark inside.
Yes, and
It's
you?
It's
Wrong
negative.
question. I
Yes.
asked it for him. He was in a church, I think, 1,000,000 years ago.
Yeah,
When I was
also-
still there last year, that is very a long decades ago. Now, we don't go to church because I'm not going to go into a place to be a witness how gods, which they intended to be real outside gods, are being addressed as servants and slaves.
Yeah.
Do this, and I don't go there. Sorry, I leave that for them. It's their choice.
What else is important about the Paramis style wedding ceremony?
You know, when we okay, we did everything in advance, and now the ceremony and the endurances are in, and whatever. So yes, whatever is going to happen after the vows, I usually say, you know, that the bride and groom, or whatever the young couple, they must face otherwise. They don't kneel in front of me. That is one thing for sure. They can kneel with their backs towards me, but they don't kneel in front of me. I'm not an idol, and they don't do that. So they kneel facing the congregation. And then, this is now for the blessing, but before then, there's 3 candles. You know, normally a big candle up there, representing who? Sorry for my hand in front of your face.
The Most High.
The Most High. And then at his feet, 2 small candles. One a little bit higher than the other one for the male and the female. And then the groom will come and he will light with his newly wedded wife. They will light their own candles and take the 2 separate candles and light the big candle to demonstrate what? Their
Their
oneness,
oneness with
their
the Most High.
weddings, their wedded, their lives now part of the Most High. So now this wedding has 3 persons, but 3 spiritual persons. The Most High who will lead, and then the 2 people in his service, the bride and the groom. And then will come the blessing, you know, and I cannot bless them. I mean, the Most High must do that, but he gave me words. You know, like, if I lay my hands on that, I can use that word or words, and his blessing will go through, and you can actually feel it. You know, if I have to wed somebody, it's usually, you know, it's a happy ceremony, but in the church it's very sincere, because we can feel the stuff and we deal with it. Yeah,
So
yes,
what
look,
about the
yes.
3rd person in a marriage?
Oh, another nightmare is awakening. Nikita, yes, the 3rd person rule in Christian marriages is seldom understood correctly. People among Christians think that a 3rd person is supposed to be extra lover that the other partner doesn't know of. If you think a lover of a secret affair is the only 3rd person in a marriage, you are so terribly wrong. A marriage is for 2 people, not for 3 or more people. Remember, we are 2 people with the Most High as our 3rd person. He's actually the 1st person,
Yeah, the first.
and we are the second
The
and
second
3rd
and
persons. But they are supposed, you know, if a young man and a young woman get married, They are supposed to live on their own, away from mommy and daddy. Why? They must learn to survive on their own to prove to themselves that they can survive without mommy and daddy. Western Christians seldom think sensibly when it comes to a Christian marriage. They miss out on the whole reason for the marriage and become a burden for their Christian parents to keep giving money to the newly married couple. I mean, a young wedded man is supposed to leave his mom and dad to form a couple without their mom and dad. I mean, if you and your husband go, or you and your wife, you form with the Most High a pair, but you go without mom and dad. There are exceptions. I'll come to that one. My late mom was about 97% blind. She was blind since she was a baby. Now, when my dad committed suicide when I was 17 years of age, I took my mom in with me. I'm gay, and my mom never ever tried to be in charge of my household. Never ever. And that is the big difference. My late mom's sister always said, one mother can raise 10 children, but 10 children find it difficult to take care of one mother. So I helped her, I corrected her by saying to her, you know why? It is because one mom, when she raises 10 children, you know, if you don't do your stuff, you get a hiding. But can you hide or give your mother a hiding if she is trying to overrule you? This is the problem. Mom and dad doesn't want to be, they don't want to know their place. They want here, they will decide, you know, they mingle in with people's affairs, and it doesn't work that way. To have a mom or dad is a privilege. My late mom abided with me until she was 80 years of age. She stayed with me since I started working until 2 days prior to her soul transfer back to her Creator, the highest Toratre Yahweh Goria. It is wonderful to have your mom and dad with you, but when you decide to get married, a marriage has no place for a third person, not even family. I saw living together in a villa on a farm, you know, a whole family. That is some in Italy they used to do that, you know, there's a villa. And in that side, this family, let's say the grandmother and whatever, and so it goes on. They work together, that works. But I saw people living together, as I said. They all lived together as one big, happy, working family, but they didn't interfere in one another's weddings or households or what they must do. I know of too many mothers and fathers who want to rule their marriage, children's lives with unnecessary interference. That is taboo. If you are a Western man and you want to get married, make sure you have a house, a flat, or some proper place to live decently in. Make sure you have enough furniture, and be sure you know what a marriage expects from you. Don't be a so-called married man, but other people have to keep you alive. You know, this is so stupid. If you want to go, even among the gay people, if you want to go into an affair with somebody, it takes two to tango. We know it's not in modern times, you know, that the husband must look after the wife. I mean, they are too in greed of money. So the mother will rather go and work to get more money while the child is being put in care of a total stranger. You know, so I don't like it that way. But my dad died when I was 17 years of age, and I had to do 5 jobs per day with 4 hours of sleep a day for 18 years. 1-8, 18 years. I didn't ask people for help or money. I first worked 18 hours per day until I had enough money to pay firsthand for my own studies at the university. Nobody helped me in any way except my father, the highest orator Yahweh Gloria, and the spiritual invisible guides he appointed over me. They led me and gave me the courage to go on. Belasa orator Yahweh Gloria. If you want to buy a house, do so if you can afford it, without the help of mom and dad. Prove to yourself that you are a real man, not a puppet on a string for those who help you. Then, my friend, you are anything else except a man to whom the rest of the society can look up to you as an example for success. In fact, you have to prove to yourself that you are indeed a man and not a puppet on a string. When you are married or not married, live a life that is, or that the true light side deities can smile down upon you. Remember that you are not there on earth to impress people in any way. You are here to impress your Creator and yourself. Try not to be a follower of the masses on the wrong side of spirituality. Follow the true light side.
What does the highest Torah Yahweh Gloria or any true light side creator expect from his children during their marriages?
Ooh, Nikita. Let's address it. The highest Torah Yahweh Gloria expects you to know Him in everything you do, you and your wife. That is, if you are one of His created visas and you are in His service. In His service, let's say for 5 years or so. He expects you and I to live according to the cosmic laws alone. If He cannot be at the steering wheel of your life on earth and in the unseen heavens, He is not your God. Accept that for a fact. You cannot be the God of your own life and ask a God also to lead you. That is now rubbish. I cannot ask Nikita to please drive my motor car for me, but I want to sit on her, what do you call it, on her legs to drive also with her. That is stupid. You cannot do that. I'm going to go this way and she's going to go that way if it was possible. We start every day with our altar prayers. No orders in any way. No orders of do this and do that. He, the Most High, is in command, not us. Where He leads, we will follow, doesn't matter what. We do not mingle or have Christian friends who wish us to be in hell because we don't want to be part of their Christian Satan service, which I see as a, it's like a fool's paradise circus kind of thing. I don't like that. In fact, I prefer to work instead of hanging out with friends. I have 4 friends with whom we hang out, but not every day. We make sure that we spend more time every day in His service than on any other matter. After about 5 o'clock of each weekday, 5 p.m. now, I slow down to keep myself busy with general household stuff. On weekends we will have a braai on Saturday afternoon or whenever we want to, and when we relax to chat and have fun. We walk, you saw there's a swimming pool in the yard, so we can have a lot of fun. We walk long distances when we walk for exercise. After supper, Kabos and I will do research on television. Before we sleep, we say thanks again to our Creator, Father, the Most High, Torah, Yahweh, Gloria. And it's so nice to fall asleep And if you wake up later, the last words you said in your mind was to the Most High. Who wants to go to sleep in another way? Not me. He must be the last one I'm chatting to, and the first one when I wake up.
Ernst, I think some people out there watching this program will find our ways of living boring.
Alaska, I'm sure some people will find our lifestyle boring. But once again, I am here on earth as a school of learning to become full, or in earth as a school of learning to become fully enlightened, not to live a life of the masses leading to dark side realms. I am not here to impress anybody else. If they know what we are busy with, they would also find it boring. You know, for us to, I mean, what are we used to discuss, chat about and do? Mostly we share our own experiences in research, what we can, what we heard, where did we tap in, confirmation through the board, etc. We are busy with what? With a service in the service of the Most High and the light side kingdoms. Every day, we're not sitting here and expect favors. We work and we learn to do the work for the Most High even better. I don't care what these people do with their time on earth, as long as I don't have to live like that. And I can promise you out there, our lives is not boring.
No.
I think we laugh and play more than you can ever imagine we do. You know, we may sit here and we look very serious, but I can promise you, my friend, if it comes to live, we don't exist on earth. I think a lot of Christians exist. We don't exist. We live, but we see that most time of each day are dedicated to our God Creator, the Most High, or the highest Orator, Yahweh Goria.
If they, as Western Christians, want to follow the masses, we do not prefer to follow the spiritual blind. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely, Kabosi, because they prefer to be one of the masses around them, most probably because they don't want to be rejected by their families and friends or their churches. This is their way of living and they like it. They are not interested in true light side kingdoms and cosmic laws, which lead to where? To perfect harmony, perfect balance, perfect freedom in your mind, perfect everything. After all, this is their choice, not my choice. Now in the next program, which will be program W, we share ancient wisdom secrets on the following subjects. Why do trusted Western white Christians nowadays leave the Christian churches by the millions? And if you out there think you already have the answers, you don't have the answers. There's plenty to come. So who was Joshua Redorpa, the man you know as Jesus, and what was his tasks on earth? What does the Christian church hide about him? And if you want to know the real Jesus, this forthcoming program is definitely for you.
Please press the subscribe, like and share buttons as well as the little bell icon so that you can be in line for more ancient wisdom secrets. And until we hang out again here in Valenta Lava, live, love and light to all of you.
Bye.